first time he's come, na, the younger one? Ah. How did you find the show? How do you find your dad talking? Ah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, beneath the Bhatt taking the stage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting started. I request each one of you, जो भी पीछे बैठे हैं, थोड़े scattered है, please come a little forward. Requesting you all, everybody, our in-house team as well. All right, and anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are live on YouTube. We got some massive audience watching us. Here we go over to this absolutely fantastic man, I must call him, industry consultant and a former CEO, GJSCI, ladies and gentlemen.
Check.
35 years and growing only strong. He has worked across skill development, consulting, and process improvement. Focuses only on improving productivity, efficiency across organization. The man is already here on the stage. Everybody give it up for Mr. Binit Bhatt, Director AA and T Corp. Here you go. Let's get started. Over to you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Whoever's here. Can we start? Where's that guy over there? First video. वो लड़का कहाँ गया? Yeah, he was there. He disappeared. Video अलग से है. Video 1, Video 2, Video 3. Yeah. So please pay So here you saw a very small video about a leader trying to get his, entire cart across. And then he sees another cart going ahead, which is full of productive people. And whereas his cart has a lot of people who are not productive, they have their attentions everywhere else, they have their different goals and everything. So this is what we're going to talk about today, how to, make your organization really, really productive. We're going to take you through a very small presentation of 6 different key items, key issues, which a lot of organizations in our industry, outside our industry face. Can we have the PPT, please, sir? So some of the key barriers to organizational productivity, I have identified here 6 big blockers, which hamper an organization's productivity. Let's go. Next one, please. Click, 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 click. Number one is lack of clear goals and direction. This one, we'll talk about it, but it trickles down from the top. Most of the times what happens is the top does not have a clear goal or a direction. They keep changing their goals and direction with time, as a result of which the people in the organization, they get also confused. Next one. Inefficient processes and weak SOPs. SOPs, when I say SOPs, is standard operative procedures. We'll talk about it. Third one is skill gaps and inadequate training. I've been in the skill development industry for at least now another 14 years. Been consultant to the Ministry of Skill Development. I'm consulting right now Ministry of Skill Development, Government of Maharashtra, and we know a lot of these skill gaps. Even you name the biggest of the companies, top 10 companies, top 10 banks in India, they have these gaps. Next one, please. The fourth one is lack of accountability and ownership. Apart from the owner, very few people in the organization have a sense of accountability or ownership, that this is my company, I need to do this. There are reasons behind it. We'll talk about them later. Next one. The fifth one is limited use of technology and data. Specifically in our industry, in the gems and jewelry industry, there is a very limited use of technology and data, even as of now. And the last one is excessive and unproductive meetings. I know for a fact a couple of organizations, every week they have a meeting with the owners, with the bosses, with the partners, with the directors. They don't get anywhere. मीटिंग होता है, आते हैं, बैठते हैं, बात कहीं से शुरू होती है और कहीं और चले जाती है. So we'll talk about each of these 6 issues one by one. Next, please. First one is lack of clear goals and direction. What is the problem? Unclear KPIs, key performance indicators. Misaligned objectives, fragmented focus of teams expanding high effort for low output. Organizations they do not give a clear-cut KPI, key performance area, to their team members. This is what your job is, this is what you're supposed to do, this is how you're supposed to do it, this is when you are supposed to do it, and this is the time frame within which you are supposed to do it. This is often said by the HR in the interview and at the beginning, but it is rarely followed, specifically in our industry. And most of the family managed businesses have this entire lack of understanding of what a clear-cut KPI should have. The next one, please. Align individual goals directly with business outcomes. How do you align an individual's goals with business outcomes? Somebody has joined your company, they want growth. They want growth in terms of status, they want growth in terms of money. How do you align his money? Specifically, if somebody is in sales, if somebody is in purchase, somebody is in finance department. The more you sell, the more you'll get. The more you save, the more you'll earn. You have to align their personal goals with your organizational goals. Third one, please. Weekly performance dashboards. Dashboards now are available and are an integral part of each and every organization. The best and the cheapest being Zoho. Zoho offers amazing dashboards. They will define it for you, they will do it for you. You don't need to go to an expensive company like Salesforce. You call somebody from Zoho, they will understand what you need you will have a dashboard. If you have 5 sales people on the ground or in your showroom, you will know exactly by the end of the day who's done what. The moment you have a dashboard, the person who is following the dashboard or any of your salesperson, he or she is also responsible. आज दिन में इतना ही बेचा, आज दिन में इतना ही काम किया, आज दिन में इतना ही QC किया, आज दिन में इतना ही मैंने पॉलिशिंग किया या whatever production किया. So everybody knows their performance, how much they've performed, how badly they've performed. I've been in the diamond industry. I started with the diamond industry. Earlier it was दिन में कितना assault किया. That should not be your key performance indicator. दिन में कितना assault किया और कितना correct assault किया. That should be the KPI. If I do 100 carats in a day, but 60% is not good enough or not, to the numbers, I'm not a good assorter. But if I do only 50 carats and 40% of my assortment is correct, I'm a better performer. I'm more productive. But a lot of people do not understand this, unfortunately, that for them, अरे 100 carat किया, अरे इतना किया, and that's the benchmark. Next, please. Where is that guy? I made him understand. Second one, very, very important one is inefficient processes and weak SOPs. Currently, you will not believe I'm consulting with India's largest public sector bank. We visited for gold loans. We visited at least 28 to 29 of their branches all across India. They do not have an SOP written down and they don't follow an SOP. Client comes in with their gold for loan. कभी अप्रेजर 2 घंटे में आता है, 3 घंटे में आता है, कभी देख के करता है, कभी टेस्ट करता है, नहीं करता है, कभी मैनेजर का साइन होता है, नहीं होता है, मैनेजर बाद में करता है. जो अप्रेजल टेबल पे बैंक की तरफ से बैठा है उसको गोल्ड क्या है, 14 कैरेट क्या है, 18 कैरेट क्या है, 22 कैरेट में क्या कंपोजिशन होता है, कुछ नहीं पता. So the first thing what we've done is, and it's an undergoing exercise, we are conducting it with, that bank has a gold portfolio, loan portfolio of 80,000 crores. India's largest bank, it has a branch in each and every pin code in India. I can't name it, but you have understood which bank I'm talking about. And that bank does not have a written down SOP. Standard operating procedure. Last week I visited a jewelry factory. I'm going to be soon consulting with them. When I entered, I was there at the owner's request. The security people didn't know what to do with me, whether should they check me, should they allow me to keep my bags outside, inside. 15 minutes. Because I knew the owner and he knew me, I did not object to it. But imagine a third person coming in, from a financial institution or somebody from press or somebody, and going through this. There's no SOP. ऐसे आ गया, क्या करने का, क्या नहीं करना है. Most of the things in our industry, unfortunately, are ad hoc. ये आया ऐसे करेंगे, ये आया ऐसे करेंगे. Should not be the case. The impact what these non-SOPs affect, they affect your sales, they affect your operations, they affect your inventory. Suddenly Diwali आ गई, suddenly ये करना है, suddenly gold का भाव बैठ गया, suddenly खरीदना है. There is no fixed standard. Everything is on the owner. Yes, the owner is there to guide, but it's the owner or the director should be able to sit with the team and make an SOP. We'll come back to that, matrix later on. I'm going to keep it very, very short because it's a very long topic we need to understand. The next one is, it makes delays, errors and bottlenecks. When you don't have an SOP, let's say in your house, your mother or your wife or your daughter is cooking and she does not know how much salt to put in 5 people's dal, or when guests come in and 10 आदमी का रसोई बनाना है तो 10 आदमी के लिए कितना salt डालना पड़ेगा दाल में. If she doesn't know that, what's going to happen? Either the dal is going to be very salty or no salt. Same thing happens in an organization when things are not written down and not being followed. It amounts to delays, errors, and bottlenecks. So, what is the solution? Number one is to map and design. Number one is you audit which departments, which key function areas your company is faltering, which people are faltering and where. When you hired them, you only hired them. Your HR manager hired them. The agency which you hired them. So basically, who's responsible for them? You are responsible. If they are not performing, who's responsible? You are responsible. You've not given them a KPI. You've not given them an KOR. This is how you need to perform. This is how you need to act. This is how you need to react. The first thing is you sit and remap and redesign, then standardize SOPs. Unless something drastic happens, unless the gold price crosses beyond 2 lakh, you don't bother and tell me, should I buy, should I not buy, should I sell at this price, should I not sell at this price. That is standardized. You don't want your salespeople or your buying people calling you each and every day without any authority. Such organizations do not go forward in the real sense. And the last one is reduce approval layers. You empower your teams to make faster and decentralized decisions. I'll give you a real case. There used to be a mill called the Khatau Mills. They were fantastic into clothing and all that before, and they were competing at one time with Vimal, only Vimal. The only problem with the boss over there was any check, and this in the 80s and the 90s, any payment which was above 500 rupees or 1000 rupees, he would sit with the accountant because the accountant was not empowered to sign on the check. He would sit with the accountant, सुबह से शाम बस वही ये किसका payment है क्या नहीं. What happens in that? The owner is, he cannot think beyond. वो आगे का नहीं सोच सकता, वो उधर ही रह गया. वो 500,000 के चक्कर में आगे, he stopped thinking like Dhirubhai Ambani. आगे सोच ही नहीं पाया. Why? Because most of his time was wasted, not invested, wasted into various payments. He had not empowered his team. Up to X amount, you don't come and ask me. So, and this is a very real fact and a sad thing in our industry that people are not empowered. I mean, the people at the top must understand if I have hired people, if I have people under me, I have hired them, they are supposed to be doing an X amount of work, not come and ask me all the time. So the last problem is reduce approval layers. Up to a certain amount or up to a certain incident, don't come and ask me. Next one, please. Next. So third one is skill gap and barriers. This one is inadequate training. A lot many times our industry goes by the references. So iske reference se aaya, kaam pe bitha do. But are we really teaching them? Designer आया है, a sorter आया है, gold purchase के लिए कोई है. Are we teaching them? Gold purchase के लिए how much gold is there? How much zinc is added? How much copper is added? What is an alloy? What are different types of alloys? How does one recognize if there is something? Because when we were doing with the bank, we found so many frauds. Some of the lockers were opened and you will be surprised, but tungsten was used. Copper was used. Brass was used. Because people just didn't know. So are you training your staff? Because untrained staff will give you bad results. And that leads to very, very low productivity. So you need to know which staff, what are his skills levels. If he or she is not up to that skill level, it is your responsibility to skill that person. Number one is role-based training. What is the role of that person in the industry, in your organization? Is or she is fit to do it? You get a jewelry designer और उसको आप परचेज में डाल दिए. Is it a good fit? I don't think so. If you want a good purchaser, at least teach him something about metallurgy. There are diploma courses available even online. He or she should know metallurgy. Somebody is in design, I would say somebody even in your sales department. Sometimes I've gone to showrooms and I ask them about what is the difference between Polki and Kundan. Sir, I'll call my, no, you're sitting here. You're sitting here to sell things to me and you don't know the difference. Whose fault it is? It's not my fault. It's not the salesperson's fault. It's the management's fault. They don't know. Structured onboarding. If you want a person from here to here, you need to structure it. That after so much period of time, he or she should have this much knowledge, should have this much experience. Then the next step. You do not expect somebody from overnight to learn everything. अरे तुम आज 6 महीना हो गया, तुमको कुछ आता नहीं है, ये नहीं है, वो. आपने क्या ट्रेनिंग दी? आपने ट्रेनिंग दिया, आपने कस्टमर के साथ में बैठे हो, आपने उसको बिठाया, चल आके बैठ, लर्न हाउ आई टॉक. ये ऐसे कस्टमर का ऑब्जेक्शन आया, हाउ डू वी एड्रेस दैट? हैव यू टॉट देम? नो. So that person will not, perform well. And what happens when the performance is low? Your firm or your store's name goes down. Next, please. This is a very big problem, lack of accountability and ownership. In our industry, to be very frank, I've spent about 35 years in industry. Very few people at the top learn to let go. Even if they have their own sons, their grandsons, their nephews, their niece or whoever, they don't let go. The moment you don't let go, what happens? The person has no ownership. The person doesn't feel responsible. अगर मुझे सब पूछ के ही करना है, I never get to be an owner. It's like you are given a keys to a flat and हर 2 दिन में मकान मालिक आके पूछता है भाई लाइट चालू है कि नहीं, तुम्हारा पानी आ रहा है कि नहीं, तुम इतना क्यों यूज़ कर रहा है, इतना क्यों यूज़. You never feel, the ownership to a particular place. The same is the case with the business. If you do not allow your people to take ownership, start with small decisions. Start small. Let him or her take small decisions. Right or wrong, time bataye. That's how people learn. So first thing is you should allow them to take ownership by defining clear KRA. This is your role, this is what you're supposed to do. 10 लाख तक मुझे पूछना नहीं, यहाँ तक करना नहीं. You are free to do it. Obviously once after training and everything is done. You trained him or her well, the person is an MBA, आपके साथ 6 महीना 1 साल गुजारा है. Give him the free hand up to a certain extent. Second one is establish review. There has to be a review of each and every department, each and every person at a structured time. What happens in our industry, suddenly review होता है, and especially salary के पहले. सब review चालू होता है February में, January में. But why don't you review someone or a department in June? Why not right after Diwali? Why not in January? Why only just before salary? So this is one thing. Continuous review, what happens is keeps you in check and also keeps the person who is being reviewed on tenterhooks. कि भाई कभी भी मेरा रिव्यू हो सकता है, कैसा परफॉर्मेंस है मेरा. आप रिव्यू नहीं कर, उसको पता है कि हाँ जैन में आएगा, फेब में आएगा रिव्यू, तब देख लेंगे। एंड बाय द टाइम ही और शी इज मेड हर वे टू एन एग्जिट, अगर उसको छोड़ना है। लास्ट वन इज द स्कोर कार्ड। स्कोर कार्ड्स आर, if you've been to McDonald's or somebody, any of these, employee of the month, employee of the week, what happens when you keep a scorecard? Salesman of the month, product development chief or product or designer of the month. What happens when you do that? You are recognizing the person. When you recognize somebody's good efforts, what happens? He or she performs even better. Because 10 आदमी recognize किया, और जिसको recognize नहीं किया, he or she wants to be recognized. So they perform better. So you need to have this kind of a particular matrix in place. And next one, please. Barrier 5 is limited use of technology and data. People are talking about AI, people are talking about, but not fully infusing. Just last year, I'm not going to name the company, big DTC site holder, big everything, one of the largest manufacturers to supplying to Tanishq, Malabar, Kalyan. Every time they have to make a presentation, GRT, every time they have to make a presentation, 70 designers sitting in Surat, sitting in Mumbai, making designs, रात को production चल रहा है, ये चल रहा है, वो चल रहा है. I said, what is the big need of doing all this? I got somebody from an AI background. We put in some AI software. All they had to do is to find out the last 10 years history of Tanishq or Malabar. What have they purchased during Diwali time? In which category? Necklace में क्या खरीदा, rings में क्या खरीदा, इसमें क्या खरीदा, क्या price points, क्या weights, क्या gold weights, क्या diamond weights, what kind of designs. When the 80-20 rule applies everywhere, 80% of your business will come from 20% of your products. 80% of your business will come from 20% of your efforts. Same thing. They shortened it to hardly 15-20 products of necklaces. Uske variation बनाए and they got the largest order. AI is now everywhere, chat GPT, but most of us do not use AI fully to its potential. Get a good AI person, get good AI software, designing mein. A big conglomerate, India's largest, belonging to India's richest person, is making an AI software for designs. They will soon launch it. I was part of it. I can't name, but you understand which company I'm talking about. They are going to sell it at the price of 1.5 crore. But it's going to come up with a design variation. You just have to type it, मुझे ये type का design चाहिए, and it's going to come up with unlimited number of designs, all in 3D, all rendered beautifully. Testing is going on right now. They're going to soon launch it. This is what the technology is doing for you. If you have people on the road, if you are a manufacturer, you have people, salesmen on the road, Zoho has amazing applications for you. What your salesperson is doing, where he is, who is he meeting, up to what time he was in this showroom, up to what time he or she was in this particular place. 10 बजे से शाम को 6 बजे तक कहाँ था? You don't need to call up and ask him. इसके यहाँ गया था, वहाँ गया था, नहीं. You get a report 6:15 p.m. So you need to use technology to your, and then you get a dashboard. Evening में सब report आ जाता है. You sit, you study the report, then you fix up your meeting. आज production कम हुआ, आज loss ज़्यादा हुआ, आज diamond ज़्यादा breakage हुआ, आज sales ज़्यादा नहीं हुआ. Whatever. All these dashboards are available if you use the technology correctly. And last but not the least, next please. So put in video 3, boss. एक वीडियो है, वीडियो 3. This is my favorite subject. You know, this is amazing. Very unproductive meeting. मीटिंग होती है, स्टार्ट कहीं से होता है और एंड कहाँ पे होता है. यू शुड सी ना वीडियो 3. तो सॉरी 2 sorry this is a different one. Yeah. So this is how a typical meeting, most of the meetings in our industry goes. Very sorry to say, there is no agenda. पहले से किसी को बताया नहीं होता आज मीटिंग है, कोई तैयार होके आता नहीं है, किसके पास से क्या रिजल्ट एक्सपेक्ट करना है हमको पता नहीं है. मीटिंग बुलानी है, शेड्यूल में लिखा है मीटिंग बुला ली, अरे इसका क्या हुआ, अरे वो डिज़ाइनर, अरे हाँ, अरे वहाँ से वहाँ, ओरिजिनल सब्जेक्ट बाजू पे रह जाता. जवेरी बजा, अरे इसका सैंडविच बुलाना है, इसका मंगाया कि नहीं, अरे वो उसका क्या हुआ, अरे फ़ोन आता है बीच में, अरे हाँ ओनर गोज, अरे हाँ ये इधर चला जाता है, वो उधर. देयर इज नो एंड ऑफ द डे. वंस द मीटिंग इज ओवर, एवरीबडी इन द रूम सेज हश, जल्दी मीटिंग खत्म. And that is not the idea of a good meeting. Most of these big guys, including somebody, if you name one of the biggest guys, Elon Musk, he has 30-second meetings. People come, he knows the agenda, they come in, they tell him a solution, he says yes or no, work on it, period, meeting over. No lumbar discussion. He already has the agenda. He's already gone through it. They come, sir, ये solution है, हम ऐसे करेंगे. How much time frame? 10 days? No, do it in 7 days. Over. Next. So, I mean, this is something which leads to a lot of unproductive time. Imagine having a meeting with 10 people for 1 hour. That is 10 human hours of your company being wasted. Without a fixed agenda, without a fixed result. चलो एजेंडा भी फिक्स रहता है, बट रिजल्ट, व्हाट डू वी नीड टू गेट आउट ऑफ दिस मीटिंग, वेरी फ्यू पीपल. नेक्स्ट. सो बेसिकली दिस इज अ समरी, वेरी क्लियर 4-step summary. First one is audit your current state. आप किधर हो, क्या कर रहे हो, अब तक कहाँ थे, अब कहाँ हो, कहाँ जाना है. Very simple. No rocket science. Everybody knows. Next one is prioritize your 2 or 3 top barriers. सबसे ज़्यादा तकलीफ कहाँ आती है, कौन से issues है. Take 2-3 issues, work on them. Third one is build an action plan. Next 6 months, 12 months, where do you see yourself? 6 months, break it into 3 months, 3 months, break 3 months into 12 weeks, break 1 week. Every week, what results do you want to see? From which department, from which person, how? ये clear cut नहीं होगा जब तक clear या 80-90% deviation हो. I mean, results you will get 10-15% deviation here and there, but mostly you will stay in course. And last but not the least, review progress monthly. Every month, every department, you should be meeting, reviewing their progress, telling them what's wrong, telling them how they went right, appreciating when things go right, guiding them when things go wrong, not firing people, because ultimately you've hired them, you're responsible for what they do, you're responsible if you've guided them or not. That's about it. Next, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, everyone. Thank you for your time. Thank you. Sir, thank you. वो last एक video दिखा दो ना. So this is about unrealistic expectations and unrealistic.
Flagships, way ahead of schedule, yet again. This has allowed us to improve our USPs by 90%.
That's 9 out of every 10.
Excellent, thank you, Samuel. Timothy, what's the status with the linear solutions? Could you give us the latest on the Square project?
The Linear Solutions Department has, yet again, functioned at full capacity, and we have fulfilled 114% of this month's objectives. You can read the handouts for a detailed account, but in short, as I reported last week, we've decided to use the right angle for the Square project. Now, there's still some debate as to how big a right angle is, so we're testing currently at 90, 97, 100 and 101 degrees. As agreed, I've ensured Anderson cross-checks the design, removing any left angles, and doesn't use them in future. Overall, we have very good progress with the design.
Are we on track with the schedule? When are we required to start delivering?
I'm happy to report that we are ready to start first deliveries tomorrow, which is way ahead of the requested delivery schedule.
We've only just finished system testing the prototype and are only halfway through performance testing. We haven't even released an alpha version yet.
As I said earlier, we've had very good progress with the design.
Yes, we've had very good progress, but I'd say the design of the product is only 75% complete.
Well, exactly. That's 3 out of every 4. So we're ready to start shipping tomorrow.
It doesn't work like that.
We'll produce, say, 4 units, but only ship the first 3. Then when you're finally 100% complete with the design, we can then ship the 4th.
Excellent work, Timothy. You can proceed with the production. Anderson, send me please a revised delivery schedule so I can share it with the client. Well, thank you everyone. This was very productive. Yet again.
That's how a typical meeting goes. Everybody is doing their own thing without any agenda, without any clear-cut understanding of what is expected out of everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks. Sir? Oh. Sir, thank you.